I can be on Instablog the whole day, and honestly, there's a whole lot of funny things here. Lots of funny things. I came across this video drop like 1 night ago. It says Yahoo Boy shares how he introduced friend to his soap plug and paid for it. And then at the end of the day, the friend cashed out, but he didn't. And now he relies on the friend for survival. If you paraphrase this will mean that a Nigerian fraudster, you know, shares how he and his friend eventually engaged into something fetish to aid their, you know, fraud business. And then eventually it favored one over the other. Here's the life story. I wanted to listen to it, before I give my submission.
My nigga, he can't beg me say if the bonus she we have to just 20 pay, give the support to him. I can't carry and go that side. But I'm a debe, now the same soap we do. You know, cannot about bullet Tony. Now the same soap you and the guy through. And I may pay for the soap. You must know what you boy, you know. We carry work, I be daily, but I be daily on wait me. Oh, believe me, boy, look cash out of share. Timothy we share I don't see shishi. Timothy we share bro, I don't see shishi. Now the guy come later they feed me. And I me carry and go that Baba side. Now me carry and do soap. Now me even pay for the soap money. Then do the same soap for us. And he no work for me and he work for that guy. Kilo to ṣiṣẹ́ lára ti tiẹ̀ tó ṣiṣẹ́ lára tọ̀dọ̀ mi and at the same thing. Kilo cost everything I lucky. No be the same head we get. I don't know the corner. Yes. And I'm all back up. We do the same soap, but we don't get the same head. Yes.
First of all, it's funny that fraud has now become normalized. That's my, that was the first thing I took notice of. It has become so normalized to the extent that a so-called fraudster can come out and actually say, you know what, I and my friend did this and this. I mean, this is something illegal, something unlawful, something that's not good. And people now come outside, and it's normal now to show you the level of the moral decadence. And he's now explained the story of he taking one of his friends to meet maybe a herbalist or a native doctor, whichever one that it is. And then they did something together like a soap. The soap was meant to help them, right? Help them and aid them in defrauding very many other people. And so fortunately for the friend, it worked, but for him, it didn't work. And it was actually the same soap. At the end of the day, it turned out that the friend was the one that started feeding him. So now he was trying to bring out a moral lesson. I don't even care about the moral lesson, but yes, the moral lesson he brought out. And he said that, you see, we have different heads. And so the luck is not equal. You and someone could do something together. And at the end of the day, it could favor one over the other one. But the moral lesson is not even what I'm interested in, because if you have to bring out moral lesson from something, I do not think that this is a good example to cite and then peel out a moral lesson from. But it is just where we find ourselves now. It's normal. We see parents encourage kids, especially in the southern region of Nigeria. It is more than it is in the northern region. And so we see like it's normal. And you see, when you look around, you see more cases. We keep hearing cases of kidnapping, of ritual, and all of these things, and you wonder where these things come from. You wonder where they come from. But it is because of things like this. You start to ask yourself, why is he not arrested? Someone can excuse this and say, fine, he's just running a live on TikTok and he's saying something to bring people, but that is not an excuse. Nearly every young child you see today is affiliated to fraud, and so now we have very few who are not into it. But now it's difficult for us to even tell who he is and who is not. Hence the reason for the police harassment that we experienced a whole lot, that even triggered the 2020 protest. The October 2020 protest that witnessed the deaths of very many Nigerians was triggered by, it was called NSAS, right? Because it was said that SARS was not to always harass and embarrass any young kid they came in encounter with, or they saw on the road that happened to dress well, or, have this identity that has been known with the fraudsters. But it's such a sad event, considering the fact that this may never end. It may never end because in a society where money is glorified, things like this will continue to thrive. I don't have anything to say than what I've said. The only thing I can say is I hope it ends, but damn that hope, man. There are some things that except maybe a more active government, one that will be pragmatic in issues like this. But if not, we will continue to see a surge in something like this because here he is now saying this. And so when you go through the comment section of this particular video, you'll be surprised to see a whole lot more of things happening there. You'll be surprised to see very many people, it's likes over there, very many. So it's now a norm, and no one feels remorseful about it anymore. So we defraud the white people, and then we come here and celebrate it. I don't know. It is not a good story to write home about.